Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Just making another video where I'm just going to kind of edit some of my photos. I'm going to be using Adobe Bridge to look through them, Adobe Photoshop to edit them, and I'll be using a couple of AI tools. One will be Topaz Labs DeNoise AI, the other one will be Skylum Luminar Neo. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so I've already taken a few photos out of my shoot and put them on a separate hard drive for us to look through here. So the first one we're going to do is a blue heron shot. So let's take this photo, and again we're in Adobe Bridge right now, and I'm just going to right click and I'm going to go down to open or open in camera raw. It doesn't matter, they do the same thing. Open in camera raw, and this is going to pull us into camera raw where we start to edit our photos. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of tweak the color a little bit. Now you can come up here and you can change into your different camera profiles. So if you want it to look like the colors that you saw on the back of your screen, then you can adjust it to one of those profiles like landscape or faithful or whichever one you prefer. I always kind of like to start with the Adobe color profile, so I'm going to stay with that. And I will give it, just a hint of contrast, just a little bit. Maybe I'll give it a little bit of vibrance. And I won't go too far from there with this image because I'm honestly pretty happy more or less straight out of camera here. So we're just going to go ahead and now bring this into Photoshop itself. So I'm going to hit open. And once you hit open, it's going to pull us from camera raw into actual Photoshop. So once we're into Photoshop, we're going to start to use some of our AI tools. So the first one I'm going to do is use the denoising software. So we're just going to go to filter, and I'm going to go to Topaz Labs, go to DeNoise AI. That's going to pull us right into DeNoise AI software. And what's really awesome about AI software is it's not supposed to be complicated. It's supposed to make complicated things really easy. So basically you can do a couple of different things. I can either use the standard profile, which I used to avoid because it was too aggressive. I used to like to go over here and go to low light, where you'll see I've dialed it down myself, and I'll do like remove noise at 10, enhance sharpness at whatever you might want. And you can be like really less aggressive, you'll still get really good results. But again, I've been really just kind of sticking with standard too at this point because it's starting to work so well. So you can kind of play around with this software and find which one you like the most. But for me, standard's been working really well, and you can swipe across here and see what kind of results you're getting. And you'll notice that the noise is being removed and the image is being sharpened. So we can just hit apply, and that's going to go ahead and apply the denoising and sharpening and then bring us back to Photoshop where we were. And now that we've done that, I want to add some color to it. And this is where I really love to use Luminar Neo. So I'm going to go into filter. I'm going to go to Skylum software, go to Luminar Neo. And just like before, except for this time we're going to go to Skylum Luminar Neo. It's going to pull us into Luminar Neo. So I'm going to go over, oh, and it looks like there's an update out for this. So we're just going to remind me later. Let's go to edit. And we're going to go to enhance. And again, the beauty of AI software is that it makes everything simple. I don't have to kind of play with everything. AI is going to do it for me. So I'm just going to use this enhance slider and look at what it's going to do to the color here. Boom, it's going to brighten it up where we want it to. And we can look at the difference here. And again, remember, there's a wall you really don't want to cross, right? You don't want to go too crazy and make everything look artificial or fake. But you do want to leverage this AI software because it can make your editing process so much faster and give you just such good results. And again, I'm happy right there, 35 accent. This software has so much more that it can do as well. I'm just showing you just the basics. I just use it for color most of the time, is what I really like it for, but it does amazing things. There's so much more to this software. So we're going to hit apply. That's going to again apply these color changes that we made, and it's going to bring us back into Photoshop. And at this point, I'm usually pretty happy with where I'm at. I've now adjusted it in Photoshop slightly. Then I've gone and denoised and sharpened it with Topaz Labs DeNoise AI. And then we added color with Skylum Luminar Neo. So we're pretty happy with that. So what I'll do is just go to File, Save a Copy. And then you just save that wherever you want to. I will put that right into my PNG folder, and I'm just going to make that a JPEG. We will name it blue heron, and save. Here's where you can decide the quality. I go to 12, the maximum, hit OK, boom, and you just saved your raw file now into a JPEG and ready to share on social media or print or do whatever you want with it. So let's go ahead to the next one. We're gonna go back to Bridge and let's look through what we've got here. I've got some shots. These are not the most impressive shots, but I wanted to use one of these because it's got a pretty high ISO value there. This one's got ISO 5000. I really should use the one that's 1000, but just to show you how powerful this software can be, let's go ahead and open this up. Again, I just open it up into Camera Raw. This is where you can change any of your profiles if you want to. You can mess with contrast. Now see this one, this bird's white, and you can see the noise here. This bird's got some white in him, so commonly the highlights will be blown out. So let's try to make a mask and see what happens if we do that. So I'm going to go over here and we're going to click this tab and we're going to tell it to select the subject. Let's see what it does. Okay, so it selected the bird. It also selected the branch, which, okay, we'll leave it there. That's okay. As you can see, it's also gotten in between its beak here, so this will be a good opportunity. Let's see if this will work. So we're going to try to refine the mask a little bit, and that's where we'll go into here into the mask settings, and we're going to hit subtract. And now we need to tell it what it wants to subtract. Now you can do this by color or background. There's a bunch of different options you can do, but let's try select background. And let's just keep our eye in between the beak here and see if it gets rid of that. So select background. It tightened it up. It tightened it up around the bird. We're now missing the tips a little, but that's not going to matter. But it did not get in between that beak. So let's try subtract again, and let's do color range and tell it to select this color here. There we go. All right, so that subtracted that mask in between that beak there because I told it to grab that exact color, and now it's subtracted anything with that color in it. So we've refined the mask, we've gotten it tighter around the subject, we're happy there. Now let's pull the highlights back and try to recover some of that white, because that white is just going to want to blow out. I might even pull the blacks down a hair. All right, small tweaks. We don't want to go too crazy here. Let's hit open. Again, pulling us right into Photoshop. Once we're in Photoshop, we're free to use our AI tools. So let's go to filter. Let's go to Topaz Labs and go to DeNoise AI. And remember, we intentionally chose a shot that we didn't need to. We're using ISO 5000. Using a Canon R7 APS-C sensor, the noise kind of getting to where you don't want to be, but look at how powerful this software is. Here's how it came out. Once we've applied, again, just using the standard profile, you do have options here, but I just use the standard profile because it works well. And swiping through, look at it sharpen, look at it remove that noise, and that is looking really good. So again, we're just gonna hit apply. Gonna make those changes. It's going to denoise, it's going to sharpen, it's gonna pull us right back into Photoshop. Quick and easy. That's the whole point of these AI tools. Beautiful. Okay, let's add color. Filter. Let's go to Skylum Luminar Neo. Pull ourselves into Luminar Neo. And then we're just gonna go over to edit. We're gonna go to enhance. And we'll just slide that up until we're happy with the colors. Again, I went to 44 here. It brightened up a lot. I'm gonna back that off. Again, you wanna be careful with AI software. You don't wanna overdo it. Don't wanna overdo it. Take a look at the differences you're making. All right, so it's brightening things, which is good, except for that white where we tried to pull it down. We're glad that we pulled it down previously, so it's not as bad, but we might have to take a look at that. Let's hit apply, and we're just gonna pull ourselves again right back into Photoshop, making those changes. And let's hit C to crop in. Let's crop in on this because we don't need all that. All right, let's put them right about there. Zoom in, boom. Okay, so we've cropped in substantially, still looking okay. Remember, this was shot at a pretty high ISO value. We've denoised it substantially, we've sharpened it, and again, we've gotten maybe a little bit too bright. So all we have to do again is go to filter, and we can go to camera raw filter. That'll pull us back to camera raw, where we have this option to mask again, grab the subject. It's gonna do that again. Now remember, we made those changes before. Probably need to do it again, right? So we'll go to subtract, and this time we'll do color range. We'll select right in between the beak there, and again, got rid of that part in between the beak and refine the mask, so we're happy. Let's pull those highlights back again, just so that white doesn't get so blown out, and hit OK. That pulls us back to Photoshop, using that mask to refine those highlights again. And at this point, that's pretty good. Got our shot of our kingfisher. Again, this was intentionally shot at a higher ISO value than we probably needed to use, but I just wanted to show you like how powerful the denoising software really can be. But remember, it's really important that you get the shot as good as you can out of the camera, because even with the AI software, you don't want to have to use it if you don't need to. The better the shot comes out of camera, the better the shot's going to look, even when using AI software. So, okay, got that. Let's go back to bridge, and let's do one more, because I wanted to show you these little baby deer, because they're super cute. So let's go here. We got mom and baby deer. So let's right click, open in camera raw, and let's see what this would look like, because you can go, again, you can use these camera profiles. I'm going to see what landscape looks like, and I kind of like that. So I'm going to go to landscape for this one, just because this one was, you know, a little more dull looking. So we're going to be happy with that. We're going to hit open, pull ourselves right to Photoshop, and I'm going to filter. I'm going to go to Topaz Labs DeNoise AI. And again, quick, efficient. That's the whole point of this. This has been applied. It's standard. I'm not really doing any work. Let's take a look. Really, not even a lot of noise, but cool. Let's hit apply, get rid of what little noise there was. And again, we're just going to get pulled right back into Photoshop with those changes made. Let's go to filter. Let's go to Skylum Luminar Neo. Pull ourselves into Luminar Neo and go to edit. And we'll just go to the enhance slider here. See what happens here. Remember, we've already added color by using that landscape profile, so you don't want to overdo it, right? You don't want to go crazy. But let's see what that looks like. Yeah, just lifting the shadows a little brightness, little color, looks good. I'll hit apply. Again, pulling us right back to Photoshop again, adding those changes, and there is our finished product. And you're free to save these as JPEGs, and then you can share them to social media or do whatever it is you do with your pictures. Anyway, guys, I hope that these videos are helping you out a little bit. If they are, don't forget to go below, subscribe, click that notification bell, and I'll see you on my next video.